Pitar, joined alongside J-Dog.
Mike, I don't know about you, but between the two of us, we've never felt better. It's just been a great week in our lives.
It's been a rough week. You've had a pretty rough week. I've just been at home, and I think I might now have what I wanted to get rid of out of the house last week. I think I might have COVID, so we'll see what happens.
Last time we spoke to the listeners, you were trying to stay away from your wife by going out in public, and it didn't work. Whatever happened, it happened to you.
Didn't work at all. All right, so today we're doing a prediction show. Sportsadamus is showing up, giving us our predictions. We have a lot. I think the 2020 going into 2020, like 2019, I think I had my best predictions. I don't think they've been so great since then, but I know you got a little recap from 2021.
I do want to recap a few. So we made these predictions at the end of 2020, looking ahead to 2021, and a few of them came right, and I want to give us some credit. But before we do, I think every Sportsodrama show going forward has to include your prediction that you gave us on the Sports Hangover in 2019 for the year of 2020. And it was crazy because you said NFL games will no longer be played in front of people. I laughed at you. People can go back and listen to this. It was only a year ago. I laughed at you for that prediction. You said it'd be made for TV. You said NFL be made for TV, and we literally had all of fall 2020 made for TV. An entire NFL season was made for TV.
Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't want it to happen, but it happened. So here we are. It's 2021 going on 2022. I feel like, I don't know if it's just me, but it literally feels like I've been in a time warp and time doesn't really matter anymore. We're like, I don't know if it was 2021 or 2020. Like, you could say that I got married in 2020 and I'd believe you. But really, only a few months ago.
There's a great quiz I did, all the BuzzFeed quizzes, and it's very simple. Did this happen in 2020 or 2021? And it's so hard because you don't know all of these events that happen, and you don't know because it all blends together. You're right. All right, we have some recaps. So these are the predictions you gave for this past year. You gave them in December 31st, 2020 for the year of 2021. One thing you said was NFL and NBA live stream on social media. I said our dads have to learn to stream sports, and those are both kind of right. Like, we're seeing a lot more sports on our phones, basically, instead of TVs, right?
A lot of streaming. Amazon's probably making a push. But, yeah, I think there's more opportunity. I think the big one was, I think a lot of people learned how to do QR codes. So I don't know if that kind of goes into mobile stuff, but definitely my dad taking out his phone to scan a QR code. Big step in 2021.
That's a good one. So menus saw that as we returned to restaurants in 2021, but you're saying for media too, it can like bring you right into a different stream. Maybe it can bring you into a DraftKings app or something like that.
And you can scan, like, when you're logging on your TV or something, you can like scan it with your phone now and log in from your phone. So yeah, I think that's a good one.
Really good. No, those are both accurate. So I'm giving us wins on that. We had some quarterback predictions last year. We both said Dak was going to end up on the Las Vegas Raiders, and we never compile notes ahead of time. We're surprising each other. We were wrong about that. Dak's having a great year with the Cowboys, but I did nail Carson Wentz to Indianapolis, and the COVID quarterback, it finally caught up to him. I think they changed the rules. I think he might be allowed to play this week because really basically everyone in America has COVID, but we need him to go back to work so America still works properly. And so I think he's going to be allowed to play, even though I did say he would end up on Indy. I also said Matt Stafford would leave Detroit in last year's edition, Mike.
Yeah, that's a big one. Those are two big quarterback moves. I was actually surprised that Carson Wentz is going to play this weekend. I was hopefully going to bet against. I don't know who the backup is there anymore, but I was hoping to bet against them, and obviously he's going to come back because now it's only 5 days. So good for him.
We haven't done many topical shows with your best bets lately, but I would imagine betting lately has gotten really tough.
So it has, but we've gotten better. So we had a slump, and then we took some time off, and guess what? That rejuvenated us. We are back. We are tied for second. We can win first place if we can win these next 2 weeks. We're back. We just had a little slump. We got a little cocky, but we're back now. So we're doing good. So it's been a good betting.
When do you place the bets? Because so often COVID's coming out on Friday, Saturday, impacting Sunday. Are you waiting up until game time? When are you submitting?
There's two different days we bet. We either will bet Monday or Tuesday early in the week on games we like ahead of time, and then we'll bet again on Saturday. But if you're playing the Super Contest locks the numbers in on Tuesday. So really, you take a look on Saturday, how much the line moves, who's playing, who's not playing. It's kind of an advantage a little bit to try to see what's happening. But if you're just betting during the week, it's really hard because the numbers will move so fast. If like Carson Wentz is out, the numbers obviously going to switch sides pretty quickly because Carson Wentz is kind of good, not really that good. He's like throwing like for 50 yards in a game and winning games. So I don't really know.
It's reminiscent of the Titans with Derrick Henry. Like Ryan Tannehill gets credit, and you kind of look back and say, well, they're just running the ball. Why does he get credit? And the Colts have something similar. When Carson Wentz throws the ball 30, 40 times a game, they're going to lose. When he throws it 18 times a game, they're going to win because Jonathan Taylor's that good. A few more from last year to recap. I did say Steve Levy would go to Monday Night Football as a play-by-play announcer, so I nailed that one, which was great. Mike, I know I'm back to Sportstradamus title after you took the title for a year. You said it'd be the Bills and the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, and I just want to recap how far the Seahawks have fallen since you actually said that out loud.
It's not good. I have some predictions this year for them, so we can wait for that.
And the final one, I'm not giving myself credit for this. I did say the Packers and Aaron Rodgers would win the Super Bowl last year, and I'm giving you credit because you had a rebuttal. You said he always chokes in the big game, and that's what happened in the NFC Championship against Tom Brady and the Bucs. They were at home and they choked, so that was a great one for you.
I know. I love betting against Rodgers. I love it.
All right, let's get ahead to 2022. Before we start, do you have the soundboard? Can we enter the Hangover Hotline at all?
I don't have the soundboard plugged in. I also have a special. I wanted to kind of like throw something at you. If you want, do you want to do the sound? Do you want to do? Do we have a Hangover Hotline to get to?
I have a Hangover Hotline for 2022. I have a submission that I thought could kickstart our prediction.
Before we get to 2022, I want you to see if you can guess any of the top 10 U.S. trending searches in 2021. I looked it up. Very weird stuff people are searching. And then I also looked up the global trend searches for 2021. I didn't even ever search any of this stuff in the global. So I'm just going to give you the US because at least you got a shot to guess something right. Anything.
I mean, it's not all sports, right?
No. I mean, can you guess? I mean, there's a few. Try to just throw like.
I guess like Trump insurrection, January 6th. That was a hot start to the year. I'll start there.
No. It's very, very
capital.
I'll start at the bottom.
Okay.
Number 10, Squid Game.
I was going to say Squid Game, Yellowstone, any of the shows you talked about last year.
Number 9, Georgia Senate race. Top search. Top third. Number 8, stimulus check. Everybody's got to get those stimmies, you know?
Some call them the stimmy, exactly.
Yeah, get the stimmy. Number 7, AMC stock. Number 6, Mega Millions. So a lot of cash right here. Everybody's looking for their money.
People are looking for money, and that's why they're not working because they got money in other ways.
Okay. Number 5, Brian Laundrie, the guy who killed his girlfriend and then went disappearing and probably.
I thought that one got too much coverage. I know she died and it was a horrible story, but it's like we gave it so much time.
I kind of liked it because everybody was on TikTok and like, hey, I was in the park at this time and here's his van. It was like they put the puzzle pieces together from all over the world.
It's true. It's true. TikTok kind of solved the case.
Number 4 was Kyle Rittenhouse, who killed some people, got out free, right? That's what.
So now we're in the true crime genre. We got money and true crime so far.
Number 3, Gabby Petito, who was the girl that went missing from Money Laundry.
That was a huge story. Wow.
Huge story, yeah. And then number 2, DMX, which
the rapper.
He died this year, and I don't know why.
I forgot he died. I would have said 2020 on that part of the quiz.
And then number 1, NBA. I have no idea why people were just searching generic.
Those are Google search trends?
Yeah, top U.S. trending searches for 2021.
I mean, think back to June of 2021, and we talked about it last week, but Giannis was the champion of the NBA. It was a bad finals. It was no good players left. Remember, all the teams were missing their best players.
That's weird.
Like Chris Paul. It was kind of weird. I don't know. I don't like those search trends.
I don't like those search trends either. You can look it up. It goes into more detail, like what people were searched, what music was searched, but this was just general. These were the top searches. So
apparently, I was reading something on Squid Game, which you mentioned. And apparently Netflix acquired the film for $20 million. And so far they're seeing $970 million in earned income from it. And it's still on the platform. They own it now. And the makers of it, who you would think like they're all getting rich, all the actors and the creators, they don't get anything extra once Netflix has it and it goes super well. It's like, that's a streaming world. They're just going to take the success from it. All right. So my Hangover Hotline submission, I know you love these. I reached out to a friend, Mike, to get a sports media prediction for the new year. My friend is John Oran from the Sports Business Journal. He's the foremost expert of sports media, and he submitted his prediction for the year. And I just thought this might kick it off. I know you like this stuff. He wrote back. He said, Amazon will buy a 49% stake in the NFL's digital media properties, including NFL Network, Red Zone, and NFL.com in the first quarter of the year. Bonus points for nailing the date. We never say that.
Love
And then he goes, that deal will not include NFL Sunday Ticket. So you might say, where is that going? Which will go to ESPN Plus. So he's got ESPN Plus and Amazon kind of adding Sunday Ticket, adding Red Zone for a big prediction for the new year.
It makes sense. They both have a lot of money. They're both pushing their digital platforms a lot. There's a couple other players out there, but I don't know if they're pushing hard enough. We have, we got NBC out there. We have CBS. Does CBS own anything? Do they own Paramount Plus?
They do. Yeah, they do. So they put all their CBS sports on there, but will they put additional sports? We'll see.
And then Fox doesn't have really much of anything, right? Like they're a little bit in Hulu.
What's Fox doing with the app? Yeah, they have Tubi, which is like free. It's not like good Fox content. So where does good Fox content go if you want to stream it?
I think if anything, Fox is on the bottom of the bandwagon here trying to get any rights. But it is going to be hard, though, if they're exclusive rights to only ESPN Plus for like Sunday Ticket or whatever it is. I think it's going to be hard for a lot of old people to figure out how to get onto these stations. And like, God knows, like getting Amazon Prime Video on your app or whatever device, like that's not going to be easy for a lot of people to find. So I'm sure there'll be like, we get the TV rights, we get internet rights, kind of split the deal where you can kind of make double the money because you can split it up. So I imagine that would happen. I don't know if it's 100% going to go that way, but
I mean, John Oran knows shit, so I think it's interesting. I think ESPN Plus would benefit in a big way from adding all these NFL subscribers. They have different sets of people, college football, all of college sports. They have a lot of soccer. To add the NFL fans would be huge. They have hockey now, as you know. They have NBA already. I think Red Zone on Amazon Prime is kind of exciting too, because we keep trying to figure out how do we have Red Zone when we're streaming. Like it'd be very simple if it was on Prime, which would be great.
And YouTube TV keeps like shutting things down every single week. It's like, hey, this week you can't buy a Viacom. Oh, this week, guess what? We're not on Roku devices, so can't.
They must be asking for a lot of money, but I do love YouTube TV. I know you don't like Hulu. Okay, you ready for the predictions? Our own predictions for the new year.
Let's do it. Yeah,
you want to go back and forth?
We can go back and forth. I just wanted to start and say after 2021. I don't want to talk about COVID anymore. We have to say this is eliminated from our vocabulary.
Wait. So just because you get COVID on December 28th means we don't have to talk about it anymore?
I do not have COVID. I have to go. I got tested the other day. I don't have COVID. I got a cold.
You're just stuffed up. Okay.
I'm just saying, I think in 2022, if we just forget about it, we can just move on and like kind of live our lives. I think it's been 2 years of this craziness.
Yeah, I like that.
We should just forget about it in 2022. But
that's more advice more than a prediction.
Yeah, well, that's my prediction. We're not talking about it anymore.
Well, you live in the bubble of LA, as we know, so I don't think you're getting away from it anytime soon. I'll join you though. I'll join you there. I'll start with a hot prediction that I think is pretty realistic.
Yeah,
my boy, the unvaxxed Aaron Rodgers, he's heading to San Francisco. You know what the 49ers are doing? They're seeing Jimmy G kind of sucks. They're seeing Trey Lance, and they don't want to give him a chance. And they're the ones who are going to make the splash. I don't know if Aaron will be allowed in the state of California by the time next football season rolls around. Will Gavin only let people in who are vaccinated? We don't know for sure. So if Aaron Rodgers is allowed in the state, I think he plays his home games in San Francisco, which, Mike, that's not far from where me and you are going to live here pretty soon. Maybe we take a little trip up to see my boy in San Francisco.
So I also had a prediction about Rodgers, and my prediction was he will stay with the Packers after losing the NFC Championship this year. They get there, almost win. I think he stays. I think it's too big of a move. I think he just wants some more assets there. Obviously, Jordan Love is not the answer, which he proved during his COVID stint.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's ultimately gonna stay. I don't think he moves because it's too where's he gonna go? Like really go to San Francisco? Are they that much better than what he's got? Like
their defense is pretty stacked, right?
I mean, the Green
They're 8-6 with Jimmy.
They are. Yeah. I don't know. I just think they're better off with him staying there and just getting somebody else. I don't know what else they need. Like, do you want to get more defensive players? Like, what do you want?
I know they seem to smooth it over. I think Rodgers and the coaching staff kind of smooth things over, and maybe there's better communication now than there was in the offseason in the beginning of the year. They have a lot of holes on that team. You saw how bad they looked with Jordan Love, which kind of shows Rodgers on a better team could benefit a lot more, and he might be propping that entire team up. I also learned recently Davante Adams is a free agent after this year.
Ooh.
And so there's no way Rodgers stays if Adams isn't there, because that's a worse situation than now. And do they have the money and the resources to bring Rodgers and Davante back? They just paid Aaron Jones, which seems like a weird contract because you don't want to pay running backs. They have Dylan. I think Adams and Rodgers are both gone. And that's a bonus prediction. I didn't even have Adams on my list.
That's big. That's a big one. All right, I'll stay within the NFL here. I'm gonna go with well, it's kind of NFL. We're not a player on the field right now. He retired
Hmm.
last year. He went to the booth. I'm saying Drew
Hmm.
Brees will be off NBC football. I do not find any value in my boy Drew Brees sitting in the booth there at all. I don't think he'll be there next year. I think they replace him with somebody else. He'll go to the sideline. Maybe he'll go to like I don't know something else. He's not good, and I predict he'll be off.
Mike, when you're talking about quarterbacks, you're talking about analysts, you got to let him time to grow and evolve and flourish. You can't cut a guy after his rookie year. You got to give him a chance to get better. You got to get him into the system, let him get his reps, let him have an offseason to think about his performance
Now,
and come back even stronger. And you got to give him a chance to come back. I think we learned recently the Saints needed a quarterback for Monday night against the Dolphins. They started a terrible guy, and they reached out to Drew Brees, and Drew Brees sent a picture video back of him playing golf. So that was the response.
I just think maybe they threw Drew Brees into a situation that was a little too big for him, right? Like this is a prime time show, and you are here. It's a little too big for you. Why don't you start at a lower tier? Like why don't you just do a hit piece with somebody every once in a while and show your face, get warmed up? You know, you don't want to you can't just make a star on TV, right? Like Al Michaels did not just appear one day on Sunday Night
Don't
Football.
tell Tony Romo and CBS you can't do it because that happened quick.
He was good. He was good. It worked. Maybe sometimes it works. Sometimes you got that star power. I do not think Drew Brees is as charismatic or as fluid as Tony Romo on TV. He doesn't feel comfortable. He's like, and yeah, this is like he like practiced it 2 seconds before they went live. So I'm not loving it.
I don't like that one. I think he'll be much better next year. You think if he's gone, you think he plays in the NFL? Is that where he goes?
No.
Jason Witten syndrome?
No.
I'm so bad on TV. Don't look at me. I'm just going to go back to my team.
Is he still in the NFL or did he retire?
He retired, but he's certainly not on TV. Remember that? Like that actually happened. He was on TV.
He was really bad.
They tried to wipe that from us. All right, sticking in the NFL. Let's run through our NFL in one session here. So I've got your boy. His name's Russell Wilson. We talked about the demise of the Seahawks. It's not working. They're like 4-10. Pete Carroll might be fired. Like break up the Seahawks. I think he's going to Philly. I think the Eagles aren't going to stick with Jalen Hurts. I think they have assets to trade for Russell Wilson. I think he's on that list. You know, his agent always floats these teams where he might be able to go like the Saints and the Giants. I think the Eagles are my destination for Russell.
I also had a prediction on Russell. I said he'll be in possibly three places next year. He will be a Bear, an Eagle, or a Saint next year. It's done. They're breaking up. There's no longer Russell is out of Seattle. I think Pete's going to stay. They're going to try the rebuild. Pete said they're not going to rebuild this year. I just think it's come to an end. Just kind of it's kind of sad because Russell's there. You see, I don't know if you watched last week's game. There was no passion in his eye playing against the Bears. They lost to the Bears.
They lost that game?
They lost to the Bears.
Oh my God. I didn't even know they lost.
There's no passion left in him. There's no drive. Russell had did he have a kid or two in this past 2 years?
Yeah.
Maybe his family's taking a toll. Something's happening. There's no more passion. I know he broke his finger. That could be also an issue. He might even be injured. At the end of the season, we always see those reports oh yeah, Russell Wilson had a torn ACL the entire season. That's why he wasn't running around. It's oh, okay, that makes sense. Why don't you sit him so he could heal?
There'll be something like that for Russell. And this means a lot coming from you. You are our Seattle expert. We know you've had the time of your life in Seattle. Some of your favorite memories are right there. But Mike, we know that Seattle's a long ways from everywhere else in the U.S. And I think that's a problem because Russell's married to Ciara, and she's Hollywood, she's New York, she's fashion, she's a business icon, and Seattle's not a super easy flight from anywhere. I love Seattle, I want to live there, but I can't if I'm going to be successful in media is what I'm thinking. So I don't think Ciara sees a future there either. She's going to help Russell out the door. I like your predictions with the Saints. Maybe they'll be needing someone. I have another prediction for them. The Bears could certainly use someone. I think the Giants are a team to look out for, but I'm saying Eagles, and you say maybe Eagles too.
Well, I do see a lot of talk about the New York Giants or even taking on Russell, which would make sense. Big city, go to a big city. You're Russell Wilson.
Not for Russell. Two bad situations,
but good for Russell being in a bigger city. That's pretty much it. But
that's true. That's true.
All right, what else?
Can I do Deshaun Watson next? So Deshaun Watson, if you're wondering what team he's going to play for next year, what?
But yeah, he's been gone for a while.
He's going to be gone a while longer. I'm saying he doesn't play again in the NFL next year. So that's my big prediction on Deshawn. He's got all the cases, all the civil suits against him. And teams keep saying the Dolphins were working on it. The Dolphins are winning with Tua. They don't need to move on like they did earlier in the year. The Panthers might want him. The Panthers are going to have other options in the draft. I think Deshawn doesn't play football. I think Deshaun Watson's out of football forever. And that's my prediction on him.
After this year, after they couldn't trade him away, I think that's kind of more likely than not, just because I don't know what's going on. There's been no news, which I guess is good news if there's no news about it. But obviously, we're going to see something in the offseason. But yeah, big talent kind of went to waste. And now is there anybody else like that kind of like was huge and then just fell off after like 2 years, 3 years? How long?
Well, the NFL has plenty of violent offenders, right? Maybe not at the quarterback position. Ray Rice comes to mind. Ray Rice was like the best running back in football when he beat his girlfriend or wife. So that might be one.
Did he ever get to play again? I thought he got came back.
He never came back. He never came back. Never did at the top of his game. And Deshaun will be similar. I mean, it's a shame because he's so talented and fun to watch. And the Texans aren't going to be able to recoup anything for him. I don't think they'll be able to trade him. And I think they're going to have to cut him because why would you keep paying him another year to not do anything?
Yeah, unless they think they're some sort of asset. But yeah.
Why does the legal system take so long? What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know. If there's all these civil cases, what's going on? I mean, I guess you can push it with lawyers and stuff. I mean, we have a lawyer friend. We should talk to him. Bring him on.
Are they lazy? Are they slow at their jobs? What's up with lawyers?
Oh, we'll ask him. Probably all the above. All right, I have another prediction. This is a big one. This is kind of a combo hit.
Oh.
We all know Big Ben announced that this might be his last game playing.
Breaking news.
And I predict Derek Carr. We always predict Derek Carr's going somewhere. Derek Carr's taking over. He's the perfect fit for taking.
He's going to Pittsburgh?
He's going to Pittsburgh.
Wow, I like that.
Perfect fit, right? Kind of same body style, in there, slinging the ball around, a lot of interceptions. It's a perfect fit for Pittsburgh.
He's blue collar. Derek Carr works. He puts in the work. He's not polished. He's not clean cut. He's not Pittsburgh. I mean, really what Pittsburgh is Ben and Derek Carr. And so I think it works.
Yeah, Derek Carr, he's going to be a Steeler next year. So watch out, Steelers fans. Derek Carr is coming to your neighborhood.
Well, who will the Raiders get? Because I feel like they're actually playing well with Carr. They're about 8-7, and we talked about last week, they've had a shitty year off the field, and he's kind of keeping it together.
I just think since Gruden left and they have an interim head coach right now, right? And I think a lot of things are going to change. It might be easier just to get rid of Derek Carr. Whoever the new head coach is might make that decision. I'm sure they'll hire somebody in the offseason, but I think he's out. Marcus Mariota is there. Don't forget. He's not.
Don't forget.
He might not be that bad. We don't know. We haven't seen him play in a long time. So they got a quarterback if they need somebody, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks moving around again this year. So many moved last year. So we'll see.
It's the new thing. And Ben leaving Pittsburgh, that opens them up. Do they rebuild? Do they try to get a veteran in there? Aaron Rodgers isn't going there. I know Steeler fans are listening. Aaron Rodgers is not going to Pittsburgh. You don't just go from a great quarterback to a great quarterback. That's not how this works. You need 20 years of misery like the rest of us.
Yeah, he's not going there. Sure.
Okay, I got another one for you. Matt Ryan. He's done with the Falcons. He looks a little bit old, but he's going to be reclaimed and he's going to be restored. He's like a piece of old wood, but it's going to look shiny and new in New Orleans. Sean Payton has had a front row seat to Matt Ryan twice a year for the last 10 years, and Drew Brees isn't coming back to the Saints. The Saints need a veteran. It wasn't working with Jameis. It wasn't working with Taysom or anyone else they've started. They want Matt Ryan in there. He gets released from the Falcons, ends up with the Saints.
I don't see it, but I wouldn't hold it against him. But I feel like at this point, he's got to retire a Falcon. He's been there so long. He's so bad. What are they going to do?
He's never won.
I know. But
They're bad. He can't even get Kyle Pitts the ball. What's the point?
Do you really think he's going to win in New Orleans? The Saints were fine with Jameis. Why put in Matty Ice that can't even move around?
They were okay. Jameis doesn't move around. Don't get it twisted. Jameis doesn't move around well either. The thing about Matt Ryan, why I think it works, is remember Drew Brees the last couple of years, he couldn't have any arm strength. He kind of just had to shoot it down 5 yards. Matt Ryan can still get that done. And the Saints were successful with that offense. So I think there's a whole playbook for weak-armed quarterbacks, and Matt Ryan can step right into that.
Okay, well, we'll see. I don't see it as much, but we'll see what happens there.
Okay.
I don't have any more NFL. I have some NBA. I have some scandals of 2022, biggest losers of 2022. Where do you want to go?
Can I do a few NFL and then we'll clear that out and you can give us some scandals and losers?
Yeah.
All right, just a few more. For the second year in a row, Mike, the second Sportsstradamus episode in a row, Jimmy G to the Bears. It's just bound to happen. He's mediocre. The Bears are mediocre. If you're mediocre, you might as well be mediocre together, and it just fits for me. Jimmy G and the Bears.
Okay. Makes sense. They got to get rid of Jimmy G. The
Niners do.
Yeah. And Bears
Aaron Rodgers is there.
No. And Bears are dumb, so they'll definitely take it.
Another repeat prediction. I'm doubling down on these two.
Okay.
Phillip Rivers. He's been in the news. He almost came back to the Saints. He's coaching high school football. He's got all the kids. You know he's not happy in retirement with all the kids. Anyone who doesn't have to be around 8 kids and then you're instantly around 8 kids, he wants another full-time job. But I don't think it's going to be playing quarterback. I think it's being on Monday Night Football. And I said this on last year's show, and I'm saying it again. Monday Night Football needs fixed. Brian Greasy and Lou Riddick are not the answer. Maybe Steve Levy is, maybe not. I'm not ready to say. Phillip Rivers to Monday Night Football in 2022. Because Peyton and Eli don't want to do it. They're doing their own thing like every other week. They take a lot of weeks off. They don't want to do it every week. It's going to be Phillip Rivers.
I could see Rivers going with Steve Levy because Steve Levy did a really good job with Barry Melrose, who kind of like has that fun attitude, little more. He needs to like pull the fun out of Steve Levy. Steve Levy's not fun by himself. Steve Levy can be fun. Yeah. So, like Phillip Rivers, good old boy, maybe a little dip in his mouth on Monday Night Football. Playing, I think it'd be great. Phillip Rivers is like, I like his like energy. He's kind of like
he'd be animated, loud. A quarterback. You need a quarterback back there, like just talking to us, like he's into it. Like Peyton gets like that too.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I could see it. Steve Levy, he could stay if Phillip Rivers is there.
If it's Phillip, but if it's not Phillip, Steve might have to go.
Yeah, Steve might have to go somewhere else. Maybe back to the XFL or something. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they can't keep running these 3 guys out there like nothing's wrong because something's wrong.
Something's definitely wrong.
I can't believe I forgot Jason Witten did that role. I mean, we all forgot about that. COVID hit, and you just forget about certain things.
But
Kobe never got a proper burial, and Jason Witten never got a proper thrashing.
But with Jason Witten, though, we all knew he was so bad because we'd all react the day after. At least he and Riddick and everybody, they're kind of under the radar. It's like you guys are bad, but not bad enough to us to talk about the next morning.
My last NFL prediction.
Yeah.
Tom Brady. We're heading into playoffs. The Bucs are looking good. You heard it here first. The old man, Tom Brady, will be embarrassed and upset in the playoffs. He will not make it back to the Super Bowl. He won't make it to the NFC Championship game. And a double prediction here. I think I'm going to name the team who's going to throw the embarrassment at him. Okay. And it's full circle, Mike. It's Dak and the Cowboys. They started the year week 1. If you remember that shootout, it was Dak and Brady. They both threw for like 500 yards. It was beautiful. Dak wins that game most of the time. He's been thinking about it all year. The Cowboys are finally healthy with Zeke. Pollard will be back. I think the Cowboys upset the Bucs in the playoffs. Maybe they go to the Super Bowl, maybe not, but it won't be Tom Brady again.
So I have a BDE of 2022, Big Dick Energy of 2022.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm going to say it's going to be Brady if he wins the Super Bowl, if he can go back to back. So it can go 2 different ways here. But I really have a lot of belief in Tom Brady. He looks younger than some 30-year-olds that we know. Like, there are some people in our lives that might look older than Tom Brady, and we're not even that close to that.
You're talking about all of our friends.
Yes, all of our friends. No, but there are some people that I know that are like, they're 35, but they look like they could be closer to 50. And Tom Brady looks like he might be closer to 30 than he is 50.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
And I also think Tom Brady will be at the Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. Tom Brady versus Kansas City.
Rematch.
I have a lot of belief in Tom Brady. I love.
And they're going to win again?
If they win again, he is crowned the BDE of 2022. 100%.
He was already BDE of 2021. We don't have many repeats of BDE. Your dick gets big and we move on to the next. But the Big Dick Energy 2 years in a row, I've never even heard of something like that.
His dick just keeps growing every year. So it's going to be a big year for Tom Brady. Big year for Tampa Bay. The BDE of the state is going to be, or city will be Tampa. Back-to-back championships and Stanley Cups. And hopefully Super Bowl.
I certainly hope not. All right, those are my football predictions. I've got a few NBA and some others too, but let's hear yours.
All right, so my first NBA one is, we talked about Kyrie a lot this year. I predict Kyrie will eventually get vaxxed in 2022. That is my big prediction for Kyrie.
He will get vaxxed. Interesting. Is this a situation where the Nets have so few players they need him to be vaxxed to field a team? Because NBA is going through some crazy shit. Everyone has COVID. I saw the Atlanta Hawks set a record this week with 26 players on their roster because so many had COVID.
It's not good. I mean, I could just run down I have 3 predictions for the NBA. The NBA will be shut down for a brief period of time again because of a new variant, and the NBA champions are the Brooklyn Nets. So Kyrie has to get vaxxed for that to happen. And then the NBA might be shut down for a few weeks.
Because the NHL took a break. The NBA didn't take one. Maybe they're due for a few weeks to kind of just give everyone COVID at once type of thing and get it out of the system.
They need to go back into the playoff bubble. They need to go back to Orlando. That's what
they're not. Wait, we're not doing bubble again. You're saying 2022 is a year we don't talk about COVID. Now you're putting them in a bubble?
I'm just trying. We want sports, right? If you want to play sports,
we do. Oh my God. Can you imagine another bubble? Are you serious? Like, that makes me so sad.
I think that whatever's happening right now, it's going rampant. Like, you go to CVS, there's like signs outside out here in LA, like no COVID test, like no space, no more sales. It's insane.
If you don't know someone who has COVID or has been exposed to COVID right now, you have a very small friend circle and you need more friends in the 2022. So either you know someone or you need more outsiders.
You might be listening to this podcast. I might have it, so you know us. So.
That's true, but you're saying maybe you don't. We don't know. It might just be a cold.
I got tested yesterday, so I mean Tuesday. So I probably don't have it. I hope I just have a normal seasonal cold.
Yep, the rapid tests are super accurate.
It was actually at a PCR place that I drove.
Okay, PCR is good. All right, just a cold. Your second one in 2 months. We had a cold recently together.
That was from our mutual friend's mother, and she's gonna pay us back in
Vegas in October. She owes us a weekend because that was miserable too.
Yeah, it's not a fun time.
Okay. By the way, fun fact: that you had the Nets winning the championship last year in our Sports episode. Yeah. So you're doubling down on that one.
Doubling down. You're saying there takes time to get meshed up and everything for Drew Brees. I'm saying the same thing for the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie just got to get vaxxed up and they're ready to go.
I got an NBA one. LeBron leaves the Lakers in the offseason. Everyone's saying it's him and Bronny. He's going to stay forever. It's a bad situation right now. And anytime Magic Johnson's involved, I think he's involved in that franchise. It's bad because he's not very bright. And I think he's ruining the franchise. I think LeBron's unhappy. They might miss the playoffs. They might have a terrible seeding in the playoffs and then lose right away. I think he's going to take some stock in the offseason and say, why do I have to deal with this? I did my Space Jam movie. He's not shooting movies anymore. Why does he have to be in LA? Go maybe back to Cleveland would be fun. Maybe he wants to try the Knicks or something like that. LeBron's out in 2022.
I just think he has full control over the Lakers right now, and I don't think that prediction comes true. If anything, everybody leaves. Anthony Davis, you're out. Westbrook, you're out. I'm bringing it to you guys.
They're not the problem.
Listen, LeBron is never the problem. Okay, he runs the team.
He's not aging like Tom Brady.
He's doing pretty good though. He's in a really good shape. He's the same age as we are, and he's in a lot better shape than we are.
He's got a lot more mileage on himself than us. Especially this week, I think he's doing better than us. What else? What else you have there? Losers of the year?
Yeah, I got biggest losers of 2022.
Ooh, this is good.
This is a combo package here. We already talked about Russell. This is both. This goes both ways here. The Seattle Seahawks fans will be the losers of 2022, along with Russell Wilson leaving the Seahawks, going to a very shitty team. Listen, no matter where you go next season, everybody thinks it always gets better. You move somewhere, it's just going to get better. It's not real. Only Tom Brady doesn't work out for him.
Wait, are you telling me I'm going to move somewhere in 2022 and it doesn't get better?
Listen, Jeremy.
Does that apply to me?
There's analogies for everything. All I'm saying is Russell is going to leave a great situation where everybody loves him, and he doesn't realize that until he leaves and goes to the Bears fans, and then he gets booed at his own home stadium. So the biggest losers of 2022 will be Russell Wilson and the Seahawks fans, and whoever takes Russell Wilson next year. So I'm for sure thinks this is happening. So I'm already set. I've already killed Russell out of my life.
Yeah, you're more okay with it than I thought you would be at this time. I like the prediction, but I would just say that Russell has to try somewhere else to know if he'll be happy somewhere else. And anytime you're about to move somewhere, you don't know if it's the best thing for you. You just need to try it to know for sure. And I think Russell needs to move and he needs to try it. And then maybe he would finish his career in Seattle after they rebuild a little bit. Maybe he goes back, but he's got to try it. And we're not going to fault him for trying.
We're not going to fault him, but he is our biggest loser of 2022.
And the Pete Carroll and the Seahawks fans. Man, they might lose like 3 games in a row, time after time.
They lost to the Bears. I also have a scandal 2022 I came up with. I thought this would be fun.
Yeah.
We know a lot of people are getting paid in crypto these days. A lot of crypto things going on. A lot of people are just trying to like get. There's a lot of scams. So I don't know if you've been following crypto lately, but there's a lot of like Ponzi schemes where people are like, "Oh, here's my new coin. It's the Sports Hangover coin. Come get it, the TSH coin." And then the guys who make the coin steal all the money and then you're never able to like pay out or anybody that invested in the coin. I think there's going to be some sort of scandal with some athletes and some crypto because I think the waters get a little dicey when crypto gets involved because there's not a lot of regulation. So I think look out for it this year. Crypto's getting bigger than ever. Crypto.com arena down the street from me here.
Nice. Yeah. Coinbase app. We're buying stock, baby.
That's right. No, you use the crypto.com app. That's a good one too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah, crypto.com.
Well, they're using all their spend on marketing. I'm not sure they're investing in their technology, but okay, go ahead.
I'm just saying I think something like that will happen in 2022. Crypto and athletes, some kind of scam or some kind of scandal involving some athletes.
This is big. So it sounds like, I mean, you've nailed kind of ambiguous story of the year before with the no fans at NFL games. I feel like the story of next year is like Tom Brady, Super Bowl, NFT stolen, all of his money gone because he invested in like something big is going to happen here.
Something big. Yeah, maybe somebody's wallet gets stolen of a whole bunch of money.
Check all the boxes.
People are just holding like hundreds of millions of dollars on fucking Coinbase. You don't want to do that.
It's not protected, people. Just keep your small money in there, not the big money.
Yeah.
A lot of athletes are getting paid in crypto and they're getting bonuses in crypto. So like teams could be involved in this too. And then it's kind of sketchy. Like, hey, Washington, you didn't pay me. Oh, I paid you in Coinbase. Well, it's all gone because Bitcoin stock went down. Like there's a lot to unpack with it.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. So those are all my predictions. What else? Do you have anything else?
Yeah, I have a couple more. So that was your scandal of the year, right? My scandal of the year is TSH related. And it's something our listeners hear about year after year. It's Mike threatening to quit fantasy football and never quitting. And I feel like the scandal this time is you might actually go through it because Mike's really bad at fantasy football in 2021 and most years prior to 2021 also. But just talking about this year, you're actually the worst so far in our 12-team league. Have you cemented your place as the loser yet?
So I'm heads up against the other loser in the league, our lawyer friend. He's up against me. And,
wow. And he's going to beat your ass because his team was pretty good. He just lost too many games.
I don't know how his team is.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to lose. But here's the decision. You know how like a few years ago I was doing all these different ideas how to like get loopholes in the league or how to like trick people in fantasy football. Remember all those we did those like fantasy segments for a little while.
Sure.
My idea, I think might work. I don't know if I'm allowed to do it, but I was going to call our friend up, our lawyer friend, Greg. And I was going to tell him, let's just bench all our players and let's just tie. What if we both lose and have to go to Denny's together and eat 24 pancakes together, right? There's no rule against that. We can just tie.
I think my first prediction came true. This is already a scandal. I've just exposed a scandal. This is happening on Sunday, January 2nd in 2022, this Sunday. And you're talking about benching your players so no one does it. You just want someone to go there with you. Are you saying, so our rules are set up, it's like 24 hours, 24 pancakes, is it? And then every time you eat one, it goes minus an hour, or you can also drink a beer to minus an hour. Yeah. And you want him to share it, or is it going to be 48 at that time? Because I think if he joins, it's 48.
We would just share. We would just.
No, you don't share 24. You share 48. If you both want the misery.
24 pancakes. I'm just going to see how it works out. I don't know if we have to go to like our dumbass tiebreakers, like who has more points or who has all that stuff. It just should be an even tie for losers of the league, and we should go together.
I mean, I guess you guys can handshake on it and do it, but it might be 48 pancakes.
I will be talking to him after. I'll be talking to him after this, and we're gonna.
His team's not that bad. He shouldn't be lumped in with you. Honestly, you should like already have the worst team crown.
His team should be he has like Jonathan Taylor. He has all these people, and I have no one on my team. No one. We both have 3 wins this season. I fucking hate fantasy so much. I will leave. I will leave this.
I uncovered this scandal. You'll be back. I think you'll be back after all that. You'll be back. Drafts in Phoenix, I think. It's on location. All right, this is a big one for me, and it's kind of like you said. You kind of teased the crypto, the athlete part, and I have a big one here to share. And it starts with this. It's going to start with baseball. It won't end on baseball. Baseball opening day will not occur on time. There's a lockout right now. I know you're turning your mic off and walking away, but it's just not going to happen. And so baseball will not start in April. It'll be less than 162 games, which might make you happy. But here's what I want you to look out for. It has ramifications across all sports. The regional sports networks, Mike, are struggling, and that's who has local baseball rights. They also have local NBA and NHL rights. Player contracts are based on many factors, but TV rights are the biggest one. That's the biggest revenue that leagues and teams are making. And there's a company out there called Bally Sports, and so many local teams are tied up with Bally Sports. Again, it's baseball, it's NBA, and NHL teams. The lockout is going to take a lot of revenue away from Bally Sports and other regional sports networks. It might be Fox's or NBC's or whatever it is. What happens if a company like Bally Sports, who has many sports rights tied up in massive contracts, goes out of business because baseball doesn't happen, because they're losing NHL games during this critical holiday stretch? They might shorten the NBA season or have to take a break because of COVID. But just stay with me for a second here. So what if Bally's, who has all these rights, and then games aren't being played, they go out of business, they default on their payments to teams. Teams already gave out player contracts. They already signed these contracts. They're guaranteed this money. Where will the money come from if we lose the TV money from these networks? And it's crazy to think about that the baseball lockout and the COVID restrictions and all across all sports could lead to a massive scandal, a massive what do we do if these players aren't getting paid from the teams.
So I feel like this kind of happened with radio, like before, like I would say like early 2010s, there was a big thing where it's like Clear Channel and CBS owned a lot of radio stations. And then they started selling them off individually. Like, hey, like Clear Channel is no longer the big conglomerate. We're selling off individual stations to whoever wants to buy it in this region. So I'm just thinking locally, maybe the Lightning just buy Bally Sports just for that region, and now they own their own network. So then teams can own their own distribution rights in a local region and possibly sell, because they already nationally sell off rights, correct? Like they sell off like, hey, ESPN, you can have this game, but we locally will have this game.
Yeah, the leagues do that, but it's the same idea. They're making huge money from the national partners too.
So they might maybe own their own. I don't know if that's an advantage to them, or somebody big like, you know, an Amazon or NBC or somebody else comes in and be like, hey, I'm going to scoop up Bally's Sports in the Southwest region, and now we own all of this. Kind of like, didn't like Fox Sports, like they sold off most of that, or they, whatever they did on that.
I think they had to in the Disney sale. Yeah. Like they weren't allowed to send that over to Disney. So then they got sold out. I think there's concern there because if someone parachutes in like a tech company to buy those rights, will they have to pay the same massive bloated contract that Bally's or someone originally signed? What if they agree to pay less? Then does Bally's cover the rest? Where's the money coming from? I just think it's a trend. Yeah. It's a movement in sports, and it's going to come to a head in 2022 for a lot of reasons, including baseball, hockey, and NBA not playing as many games as they should. That's the crux of it.
But ultimately, live TV and live sports are where the money's at for ad revenue, because there's nowhere else you're going to get that at this point, right? You're not making Squid Games left and right where people are just buying your subscription. So I think ultimately it's like you're going to pay the bloated price because you need this in the future.
It is, but so much of that is tied to TV, because when contracts were signed in 2015 for 15 years, it was for TV. And now if you say 30% of people don't watch traditional TV, they're only streaming, but you're not reaching those people because Bally's has a shitty app, for example. How do you recoup the 30% of revenue? There's a lot of math equations here, a lot of going on. Me and you are inside baseball and the streaming stuff. We love it, but I hope the listeners do too.
I also had like next 5-year predictions, just like super quick ones.
Oh my gosh. The world will end. That's all you have, right?
I got an Oculus or the world will end. I got an Oculus for Christmas, and I think virtual dating is gonna be a big thing in the future, because I have been in virtual workrooms and virtual poker games chatting with people and playing. I've been playing virtual poker with fucking 13-year-olds and like 50-year-old men.
So it's like you're sitting at the table.
It is so weird. Yeah, people are like lighting up virtual cigarettes and like hanging out. It felt weirdly real and interactive. And I also set it up for Dope Dog. We had a virtual workspace, and people can join the workspace. And I have a virtual whiteboard I can stand up and write on. It felt new and fun, and I think dating might be on VR, and you just have to have your avatar, and you can kind of talk and hang out, whatever you want to do. I think that would be a new take on dating, because there needs to be, different ways to date. You're a single man, maybe VR dating would be the golden opportunity. Somebody just join you in a VR chat.
I mean, the pandemic would have been a great time for this to become a regular thing. So maybe our third year of the pandemic will be that. Is there a camera on you? Are they seeing the real you? Or when you say they light up a cigarette and they're 13, you're just seeing their avatar. You're not really seeing them. I feel like such a big thing with dating is like the intimacy, even if it's not like sex, right? It's like just seeing the person or reading their body language and things like that.
I'm sure you could still get like what their profile is, like, oh yeah, here's my real photos, or here whatever it is, but
or not.
You have facial like the thing, there's cameras on the lens, and it's like seeing my face, and it's taking my hands, and it's like sees where my hands are. It's really weird. I'll let you try it when you come here. It's wild. Like the poker seems so real. I'm just hanging out playing poker. Yeah,
it's a good one. 5 years. All right. If the comet doesn't strike, if the pandemic doesn't end us, if the ice doesn't melt, we'll be watching out for that.
We'll still be. I have one more. Housing will be the most expensive in history. That we're not building enough houses. Housing prices are ballooning to prices we've never seen before. I don't think there's a crash coming. I think the problem is a housing crisis. We can't build enough houses. There are not enough apartments and houses for people that want it. And that's the issue. And that's why housing prices are ballooning to whatever it can be. So can't predict the market, but if you are going to buy a house or an apartment, get it now, because it could go up.
You need a legal disclaimer on that?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to say that?
Not financial advice, but I think housing prices will continue to go up.
We're spotting trends is all we're doing. I love both of those. And I think that's interesting for people who have money during inflation and don't know what to do with it. Maybe property or homes is the best place for it.
And then one more, big banks I wouldn't say banks. I would say credit card companies will be losing big market cap because of what crypto is offering. You no longer need to pay 3% to Visa on transaction fees. Crypto will change the world, and I think Visa and MasterCard and all those, American Express, will lose their stronghold on the marketplace of whatever they're doing. And I think crypto cards, when they get regulated and get out there and you can earn 5-10% on every purchase in crypto, I think people are going to go away from the big banks and start going into their own personal finance and be a DeFi king and get a lot of money. Not win a lot of money, but get a lot of money.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And companies should start getting rid of their credit card readers too, because they're giving the 3% back to those credit card companies. So if they can simplify, I don't know if Square is doing enough. I know they changed their name to Block, and blockchain is what crypto relies on. So maybe Square is one of the places that will help transform it for like B2B or D2C type of customers. We'll see what other companies come up, because you're not going to send it on Coinbase. You still need companies to help facilitate the transactions, right?
Yeah, I mean, Coinbase has like a commerce app that you can install into like Shopify stores. There's another company called Blockify, and businesses can put money or assets into Blockify and earn interest on their money. So I think there's ways right now, but I think it's hard for random people on the internet to do it. But I think down the road, like I have a Coinbase card that I earn 5% in a cryptocurrency that I want every time I use it. So I think it's coming, but I think this next 5 years, I think we'll definitely see a big shift, because we've already seen it in just the last year.
Totally get that. I think one that I'm just thinking of for the next 5 years, and something I've seen kind of as I've traveled the country the last 18 months, is downtowns aren't coming back, and they're so undesirable for so many reasons. But unfortunately, most cities in America have tremendous homeless problems right now. They have tremendous waste of commercial real estate because workers aren't going back. And then they have a glut of residential space because people don't want to live downtown if they don't have to work downtown, and things aren't as open downtown. So I think we have a real problem in our cities. Downtown LA is a great example of it for many reasons, but it's really across all the cities I've been to. And I'm not sure downtown's really come back in this new era of work from anywhere.
I think it's an opportunity for people too. Like if you ever wanted to live downtown, you can now get a really cheap place. So
the high rises are cheaper than ever, but you have to walk through the homeless camps to get there. And maybe that's okay, and maybe it's not.
That's all I got. What is that? All you got too? End of the year show? Are we wrapping
I
up?
think we've done enough. So no more COVID mentions. We've already uncovered a scandal on January 2nd involving you. You've got Brady winning again. I've got him losing. I think we covered a lot of ground here.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, Jeremy. Well, next time I see you, you'll be in LA and you'll be a resident in LA. So 2022.
That's right. Playoff preview coming after the NFL season ends and the NFL playoffs begin. We always have our big draft. So thanks for listening to these 50 minutes. And we're going to have another show to preview the playoffs. So come back for that.
If we don't get rest of us, we are back next.